This screencast discusses selected topics on the appendicular skeleton. The content of this screencast may be found in Chapter 6 of your textbook. This screencast was designed to help you achieve the following objectives: describe the differences between the male and female bony pelvis, describe the arches of the foot. You have no doubt noticed differences in the general shape of the pelvis of a female versus the pelvis of a male. This reflects differences in the structure of the bones of the pelvis, or what is called the bony pelvis. This figure illustrates the differences between the male and the female bony pelvis. On the left, we have the male pelvis. On the right, we have the female pelvis. The figures at the bottom show an anterior view of the bony pelvis. Notice that the male pelvis is much more narrow and also deeper compared to the female, which is more broad and more shallow. If we look at the pubic arch, that's the angle that's formed between the two pubic bones as they form a joint at the pubic symphysis. Notice that the pubic arch is V-shaped in men and more U-shaped in women. If we look now at the superior view of the bony pelvis, notice that the opening illustrated, that's the pelvic outlet, is much smaller and more obstructed in males compared to females. The differences illustrated here are mainly due to the fact that females give birth and males do not. The pelvic inlet, which is illustrated by line A, and the pelvic outlet, which is illustrated by line C, are larger in the female pelvis to accommodate the passage of the head of the fetus during childbirth. The foot does not normally rest on the ground, at least not the sole of the foot, but it has three arches. An arch is basically a collection of the bones of the foot and their strong, short ligaments that hold them together. There are two longitudinal arches. One is lateral, the other is medial, and there is also a transverse arch. The arches function by absorbing the stress of walking by yielding when a force is applied and springing back when the force is removed. Like the arch of a bridge, the arches of the foot also help distribute the weight of the body over the soft and hard tissues of the foot. In some individuals, their arches are weak and they are said to have fallen arches or flat feet. Let's review the objectives. Describe differences between the male and female bony pelvis. Describe the arches of the foot. This marks the end of our discussion of Chapter 6.